What's up, boys? Welcome to another video. Today I'm actually going to be analyzing one of my subscribers' replays. This is a 5k, roughly 5k MMR TVP. I'm going to do a bunch more of these as well. I'm going to get some replays from my Twitch subscribers. I'll post all the links below and stuff. So if you want to participate, get your replay analyzed or meme that or whatever you want. You can subscribe and share your replay as well. Now, our friend Sata over here, a Terran student, is going to be going up against Thea's HP from Alphax, apparently. Yeah, so he's about, I think he was like 50-50 MMR, and this guy was 5.1k, so pretty even match. Now let me see what he wrote about the match. It's a TVP about 5k. He tried to do my mind drop build from the sick patch video. Don't know if you guys saw that one, check it out if you haven't. He got a huge lead, but ended up losing to Dark Templars and Disruptors. Now, that sounds like a problem every Terran probably has at some point, so this is going to be interesting. And then he wants to know what he needs to focus on, cleaning up harassment or focusing on the army and stuff. So, okay, we're going to go over all of those things. Obviously, going to focus a bit on the build order first. Now, he did the gas first, just like you're supposed to do with the Hellion Mind Drop build. Not the ideal map for this build, to be honest. The reason why is because this build is about going for Mind Drop with Armory. And getting in here is kind of tough. Like, normally you want an angle on the main mineral line that's like... it's hard for him to cover. But if he has one Stalker here, you already can't make the cross all over here. You want like a base like this, for example. So on this map you can only really go into the natural, but still not great. Did put 2 SCVs to deny that. That's a good start for you, I think. Honestly, SCV scouting is a little bit expensive if you play gas first. Like, gas first is in general a very poor build, so you might get a bit short on money because of that. It goes down. Reaper goes out. Good stuff. Okay, there's one tip, by the way. This is honestly a pretty small detail. One tip I always give to the people is to just build your barracks here right away, so you don't have to lift it for an add-on. Like, it's not like it's walling off anyway. You know, you're getting your depot only now, so you might as well just build the barracks here straight away. Reaper goes in. This is actually very suspicious, by the way. Please don't die. Nice. I really don't know what this battery is for, but okay. Second gas. Saturating it right away, that's good. Now, with this build, you're actually not supposed to make a mine first. You realize it and swap it up. Okay, very nice. I think that may have costed you your starport a little bit, though, if I recall correctly. Let's speed up a little bit. Yeah, this actually costs your starport timing a bit. I'm just going over the details. It's not super important, but it is gonna cost your mind drop timing a little bit. But at the same time, nice that you cancelled it and realized. That's a good sign. So gets done. 2 mines first. I think you actually said this in the summary as well, but you're not. You're supposed to make 2 Hellions first from this, just so you can get out and harass. You know, if you have 2 mines, the Stalker can walk across the map and that's it. But if you have 2 Hellions, you not just get scouting done. Like, if you have 2 Hellions with this run Reaper. It's the same principle as having the one Reaper, 1 Hellion. You can run the Reaper into the main, Hellions into the natural, or if there's a wall, you bounce the unit out with the Reaper grenade, you know. So getting those 2 mines is actually a bit of a shame. I guess if you play against a Stargate, I can see it for defense, but yeah, definitely get those 2 Hellions first. Get the medevac out, followed by the armory, I imagine, somewhere. Depot first, okay. Armory really needs to come down now to make sure you have it in time. And let's see what you scouted. You scouted nothing, actually. Okay, this is a big part actually of the 2 Hellions. Like, right now, you don't actually really know anything. You did see the Stalker first, so it's probably a bit less likely to be Stargate, but it actually can still be every tech. So yeah, your scouting is very lacking this game. You also didn't suicide the Reaper. If you really don't have any scouting, I think suiciding the Reaper is a good option. The best time to actually suicide a Reaper, by the way, is when they are on like 1.5 gateway units, which means they have the Stalker or the Adept, and their second gate unit is like halfway through producing, because their tech will most likely be down, but the damage of the unit won't be enough to stop you from scouting the tech, even if your Reaper will probably die. So that's a really good way to scout. Right now it's gonna work out for you. His build is nothing threatening to you in particular, so it's all good. So this is the setup on my build, by the way. 4 mine drop with the armory in the back to make those Widow Mines cloaked. Okay, so the helis are gonna go in now. This is a risky move, but actually, yeah. You took the opportunity you had, I think. It looks pretty good. Deny a lot of mining time. Actually, I like this move. If you don't see a wall, this is totally fine. I don't know how many probes you killed. 3. Denied so much mining time. This is actually pretty good. You kept him busy. Though, as Terran, since a lot of your builds are momentum based, a good thing to do is actually to go in with everything at the same time, just because of the distraction. It doesn't sound like a big thing. It sounds very simple, and it is very simple. But if you send the Hellions in here, like he doesn't have a wall, right? You send the Hellions in, he feels like he has no defense, so he will panic, and then your Widow Mine drop could come in, and maybe you get a game-ending shot. Like, Widow Mine drops are very often about distraction. In the mid game, it happens a lot of the time too. You push with your 3 racks, for example. He pays attention, and then the mine drop comes in, and it's just 2 mines, so you can kill 10 probes. So always try to sync up your attacks. If you go with the Hellions like that, I would recommend to go right away. And if you don't go right away, yeah, just save them up for the sync. Now he did see your medevac with the Observer. So gonna boost in. Good move. Actually, a good move. Like, this is invisible mine drops. You spend a lot of money in this. When you had the opportunity, you should have went for it, and you did. So that's good. Good micro on those as well. Now, I'm not sure why we're making a Liberator. Maybe this was a misclick or something. I'm not sure, but you have 4 mines, so you really want to go for that follow-up drop. You want to keep the pressure on as well, you know. For 1 Liberator, Protoss doesn't usually keep units at home. They'll just make a warp in there, but if you keep sending mines, like, a very strong part of this build is the 7 probes, is the economic follow-up behind it, and you don't want him to be able to attack you. Like, you just want to keep the mines going because you're going to be ahead economically. Now, the build here was performed well, by the way. Of course, the transition can always be smoother, but you actually got your 3rd early. You're getting your extra barracks. Probably going to get your eBay soon, I imagine. I hope. And then it would actually look very good. Oh my god, how many was that? 14? 14 Widow. Okay, that's huge. No, like, your job execution has been really good, I think. Where, was that the second medevac? Yeah, that was the second medevac. Okay. Oh, so you went 2 medevacs into Liberator. Okay, then actually it's fine. I think that's actually... I would rather have you make an add-on on the barracks, but if you went 2 medevacs first, at least then it's okay. Myself, I make like 4 medevacs, by the way. I just keep spamming mines because I just want to be, you know... Even if you kill like 15 probes in total with 4 medevacs or 10, yeah, you're still going to be economically in a pretty good spot, even if it's not amazing still. But if you made 2 medevacs first, then that's very acceptable. So yeah, you're doing the follow-up right, you're getting the E-base, it's looking pretty good. Widow Mine here. That's like, I feel proud of you for this game. Like, you're actually being just as annoying as I want you to be. Like, this is good stuff. I like it. One more thing you have to be careful of, by the way, is if you play against Blink Stalkers. Like, this guy actually opened Blink Robo, but he was very defensive. If he does open Blink Stalkers, you have to be careful for that Blink timing attack. So what you didn't do this game that you actually need to do is get your tech lab basically instantly when you can. Like, I feel like you could have had 2 more Marauders probably. So really try to get, even if you're making mines and medevac, your first ones, if you have the gas for it, definitely try to get that tech lab instantly for more Marauders. Let's look at your map vision. Map vision is pretty good, to be honest. You have some AFK, like the macro is a little bit rough maybe, some AFK SCVs and stuff, but I think the focus on the micro is good. This build is very economic, so as long as you get some damage done, it's looking pretty good. Now you get the 4th and 5th barracks up. And I think you're making the right decisions as well. Like, in some cases you would like to go 3 racks before 3rd when they're being aggressive, but you scouted it, he had a robo, he had a lot of gases. So it's a very good move by you to just go for the economic approach here. Now, one thing, yeah, that you haven't really scouted is the third base. I guess you're gonna scout it now. You're probably expecting it, right? Yeah. So, to be honest, here I would be a little bit afraid. Seeing those stalkers should be a huge relief for you, right? Like, if you don't see a 30, you don't see anything, you're like, you know, yikes, this is my entire army. Is there like, am I about to get destroyed? But seeing those stalkers puts you right back into the safety zone, the mental safety zone at least. Follow up looking good. I would definitely recommend you to actually drop with these units. Once you saw his units were at home, like this is kind of a rule if you're economically ahead. I'm not talking about like the game in specific. Sometimes you're just really ahead in army. But if you're economically ahead, I feel like you always want to keep the pressure on. So in this game, you really should have dropped these. You have a very healthy marauder count. Like this drop is gonna have a big punch. And yeah, I feel like this is the point in the game where you just want to keep your momentum. If he can't attack you, you should be able to win this game, right? So your mind, oh sorry about that. Your mind drops have been amazing, but I would recommend to keep using your medevacs to actually get drops done. So far, you actually scouted his Robo Bay. I don't think... No, you haven't seen his DT Shrine, but you scouted his Roto Bay 4 gas really late third, so you know he's making a high-tech army. All you really want to do is make sure you not die and just keep the pressure on. So when you're in this position, when you're particularly economically in a bad spot, in the army you're not that far ahead. He's already getting Disruptors, you know, he has Charge, he has 2 Immortals. But economically you're in a great spot, so at this point you just wanna keep dropping. Also, like I said before, dropping is a really good way to scout. You're doing it as I say it, you know. You drop the mine. This mine, it feels like it did nothing, but you get the scout on the DT shrine. This is very important. This is what's so good about dropping as well. But yeah, I would have definitely liked to see these more in action.
Your forces are under attack.
And make the choice to go for that second starport. This is actually a little bit of a mistake. You can only really afford 2 starports if you're either not going for double upgrades or if you already have your 6th gas. Like this is when you want to start your 2-2. At least your +2 attack because your armor is a little bit behind. But you robbed yourself of the gas to make it. So that's actually a little bit of a mistake there. Also, the Widowmine jobs have been amazing, but once there's like a bunch of Colossus out that you need to transition, you should probably stop making them at some point. Like I said, right now you want to be using your medevacs to drop Marines and Marauders, and you don't really have space anymore to drop Widowmines. So at this point, you can cut the Widowmines, like these last 3, 4, 5. You didn't really need those. Oh, I should probably edit it out of the video to not, you know, not trigger you guys. Anyway, if you got the last few mines out, you also would have had some more gas. Maybe would have even be able to afford the starport. Here we go. That drop is good. I like it. It's a little bit late, but it's good. As you can see, a little bit more evidence that you took your gas too late. You're running very high on minerals here. This starport is not even really going to be able to produce anything. Now, you saw a DT shrine, and you haven't really made that much detection yet. That's a pretty big issue. Like, you actually have no scans as well. This is very risky. I don't know. I don't think he has DTs on the map. He just warped them in. Is it here? Yeah. So I'm going to give you guys a small tip to deal with DTs. The way I like to do it, and I think this is the best way to do it, is you put a turret here at the front, and you just rally your barracks to it. That way, even if you're gonna push out with this army or you have a drop, yeah, your rally will just kill the DTs and that's it. The problem with DTs is that even if you're ahead, they can instantly make a huge difference in the game. Like right now, you have no scans and you have no turrets. You have one at the third base. I think his DT shrine has actually been done for a bit. As soon as you realize there's DTs on the map, get the turret here, and yeah, this is well positioned. And another really good tip. This is very basic, but it's going to save you a lot. These mines are actually going to come in handy now against DTs. What you can do is you just put a mine on the turret. If they send DTs in like every base you have, it's actually pretty tough to send units everywhere. Sometimes you miss one, you know. Sometimes you click on the minimap and you accidentally send them here. It's pretty annoying. But if you have a mine on this turret, one DT actually completely useless. The mine just one-shot it and that's it. So if you have one turret here with the rally, and then 1 or 2 mines next to this turret, if you're afraid for multiple DTs, put 2. And you're actually safe from DTs. And obviously, one thing you're missing this game, by the way, is you don't have turrets for the prism. Now, you have easily enough minerals for it. Maybe you shouldn't have if you took your gases on time. But turrets for prism are actually kind of a must. Even, like, he had charge for a long time too. Now, you actually kind of own them with the mine drops, obviously. But you always need to get... I would recommend like one turret here at least to deal with prisms, even if there's no DTs. And that setup should probably protect you from the DTs very well. Like right now, I'm a bit afraid for you. I'm looking at your POV, and I'm a bit afraid seeing that you have nothing ready to deal with DTs. I'm gonna get the Robo Bay. That's a... yeah, it's an okay pickoff. It's not a wonderful target. This is a very good move over here. And yeah, this is... I feel like this is when the pain kind of starts, right? This base is doomed for sure. But this is gonna become very annoying, I can tell you. Yeah, this sounds kind of stupid to say, but I'm kind of lucky that at some point when I have a lot of money, I don't drop that many mules anymore. But you have been so on top of your macro that you actually don't have that many scans. You have 2 scans barely, so it could be okay. This DT is actually gonna die, that's good. But like this is just... yeah, if you don't have defense in place, like even if you have units, this is just... I don't know, it's just horrible, you know. If there's a plan or a chance of DTs, you really need to get that defensive setup up, because this is just horrible. Now, yeah, this is just kind of a side effect. You don't actually lose too many units, I think, so that's pretty good. How many workers did we lose there? 5 workers. Actually, pretty good defense. Use some scans. No, you defended it well, for sure. You did get a turret up after. Now this is a bit too far back for what I discussed, but you had a good reaction here for sure. You did miss that upgrade once again, probably because of that that second starport. Now, if you do make a second starport, you just use this reactor. By the way, there's no point. Like reactors, man, they take so long to build. It's like a command center. It's horrible. Just like this reactor is useless. You put your this one on it. You know. You don't spend time, like it actually takes 36 seconds or something like that, I think. And it's another 50 gas, and this one is useless. So always use the one for the mines, for the starport. And this doesn't just go for this build, this is actually for, most normal builds. Usually, it's very common to have the reactor in a factory, and then you pop the second starport on it. Now you're making a little bit of a mistake here with your unit production. I'm just gonna rewind a little bit to go to that fight. Just for you guys to see what I mean. Now the army composition that you scouted is actually... by the way, this feels bad, but it's actually not that bad. Killing the third is more valuable. But you see that his army composition, honestly, it's kind of hard to see with the skins, but you can see that it's just one Colossus. He's starting to make Disruptors. The right choice by him being behind. That's what you want to make with your behind Disruptors. Disruptor Immortal. So... I really don't like that you go into 4 Vikings at a time. Not just 2, but actually 4 Vikings at a time for a person that is 1 Colossus. Besides that, you have so many Marauders that are actually not bad against Colossus at all. You're really not in a position to where you have to make Vikings. If anything, you would make Ghost here. If you make Starport units, you make Liberators. Another tip against Disruptors is to drop a lot. Disruptors, I know, sometimes they seem like the fucking amazing unit that kills everything, but Disruptors are not that good when split. So when you see the Disruptors, you should actually go for drops. Your upgrades are very good. Remember this, upgrades, there's nothing else that scales better than upgrades with drops. If you're ahead in upgrades, your bio drops are going to be insane. Because Protoss armies, like together it's really strong with the Immortals, the Disruptors, the Immortals, Colossus, you know. But if you drop when he has to split, the upgrade is actually going to matter a lot. Like, this is the perfect game to drop. I do have to say, above everything, your biggest mistake is definitely making those Vikings. Like, you already made 9 Vikings, including those. That's more than 1,000 minerals. Like, you really don't need those. You could have a 4th command center. You could have Liberators. You could have a Ghost Academy, you know. These Vikings are really unnecessary. In PvP especially, focus a lot on the army composition that you need. Now you're still making a mistake with the DT defense. Even if there's a turret here, what does this turret really do? You know, there's no rally to kill DTs. DT can just walk into the main, attack SCVs in the natural. It's nice to have a turret here. Once again, rather be like here, but yeah, it doesn't do too much without units next to it, right? So you're definitely in a very good spot here. You get in the Ghost Academy, that's good. You stopped Viking production. This is definitely the kind of game where you would make a 4th base, by the way. Against Disruptors, you don't really have something like a timing attack. You're just like, you're ahead, and you're going to be more ahead. Like, he's not going to attack with Disruptors. He would die to a drop, most likely. I don't know how that keeps happening, by the way. So, yeah, this is just like, you don't... if you just go Disruptor DT, you don't really want to hit a timing attack. You just want to do drops, get more ahead. You know, you can go to Liberators and Ghost. Definitely not too many Ghosts. You really don't want to be stuck on mass Ghost against Disruptors. This Observer, by the way, has also been there the entire game. Yeah, this is a problem I also have in my games. Getting rid of this Observer is like... It feels like it's like plus 20% chance to win. Like, he's only sending in these DTs because he sees it with the Observer. If he didn't have the Observer, the DTs would have probably ran into your army a minute ago. Or they would just not run in at all until a random point of the game, or maybe if you show up at his base. Checking for the Observer is a big deal. Usually, you check for the Observer with your first move out. Like, your move out was a little bit late, if you remember, with the double drop. But when you moved out the 2 medevacs, when you wanted to drop with the first 2 medevacs, that's when you scan, like, roughly. But if you don't see it, you usually just scan in between your bases or where your medevacs is. So you know that you can load up your medevacs undetected. So here we go. Now, once again, when you scan this, it's... Yeah, it's not the greatest decision to actually go on for the frontal attack. Like... Your army is mass Viking and some bio, and you probably have some... Oh no, they're still producing. The ghosts are producing. So yeah, you can't really attack here. This is definitely the kind of moment where you drop. Like, there's only one Colossal, you have mass Vikings. It's not... like, you can't run up this ramp for sure, or this one. You could maybe try to, like, send half your army on top, half your army bottom, and sandwich. I think that would probably work. Only considering his army is so much smaller than yours. But usually in this case, you don't go for a frontal attack. You just go for either a big drop in the main or a big drop here to deny the 4th base, or both. But I definitely don't recommend going for a frontal attack against Disruptors unless you have either tanks or a lot of Liberators. If these Vikings were 6 Liberators instead, totally, you know, you go and mess him up, preferably from this angle, by the way. Like, never go up these weird ramps unless there's nothing standing there. So now you can see what I was talking about earlier. This turret actually doesn't do anything because there's no rally on it. And this is when it becomes kind of chaos. Luckily you have some units here. If you didn't have units here, this DT would have also did a lot of damage probably. So here we go. You're gonna go in. Yeah. I think from this point on we can all tell how this is kind of gonna go here, right? Either you back off or lose all your stuff. That was 20 supply. You dodge here. Once again, these DTs are so hard to deal with right now because just because you weren't in position, you couldn't deal with them. 5 kills. Now, you would say, like, this game is definitely not lost, right? If you look at it, you're still in a winning position here. But more than anything, you need to kill these DTs. You have to consider that even if your army... Actually, after that Disruptor hit, your army is not even capable of killing this anymore. Everything he has. But even before this Disruptor hit, even if your army is capable of dealing with it, you can't... Like, you don't have... No matter how fast you are, you just don't have 4 arms and 2 brains, you know. You can't deal with the DTs for sure at the same time as you can out-micro 5 Disruptors. Like, splitting and looking at your army takes so much attention. If you saw this, just to go back a little bit. Go ahead. At this moment, when you started getting the alerts that your stuff is under attack, right? and you see Disruptors, you just put your army in an AFK position. Like, you're, like, at this point, this is not super hard to deal with, you know? You're gonna lose 10 SCVs for sure, but you can send these units, you can send this, and you lose 10 SCVs, and then what is the situation? You're probably still ahead economically, your fourth base is halfway. Yeah, your saturation is a bit off, obviously. You're so far ahead in upgrades, it's fine. But by attacking here, you're putting yourselves in a position where you either have to micro against this, 100%, if you don't look at it, because obviously, sorry guys, I apologize, okay, but I need to show you guys this. This is what happens, that's 30 supply or whatever. And do this at the same time, like you're forcing yourself to need 500 APM just by stimming up here. Even if you were stimming up here, which is a way better position, you would still need, yeah, just too much APM, because you need to, luckily it's only 2, but you still need to defend 2 things at the same time or you lose all your SCVs, and you need to split against Disruptors, which it just takes 100% of your attention, really. You have like 5% of attention left to make some units via your hotkeys, because that's very easy to do. But by attacking here, you make the APM requirement to play this game from 200 to, like, you know, 600 or whatever. Like, it's just not really doable for a human. Like, even you micro well here, that's time you're not cleaning up the DTs. What you do is you see the Disruptors, you get the notification of the DTs, you put yourself in an AFK position, you would click your army here, or maybe reposition up here, just so it walks somewhere, you know. And then you take your time to deal with the DTs, and then you go for the attack again. Like, you like, unless you're like some super talent with the 7 million APM, you just can't. Like, your only hope is that the Protoss doesn't look at his army right now, literally. That's the only hope you have. And just like that, just because of this poor decision to stim in here, you went from being 50 supply up to being even, and actually being in a tough spot. Like, this army is stronger than yours right now. 2 Archons, a bunch of Disruptor Balls still available, 3 Immortals. Like, you could maybe get a decent trade, but you can look at the supply and see how this trade is going. You're just losing so many units. At the same time, you did manage to clear up the DTs for... I think you lost 5 to the first DTs, so I'm pretty sure you lost 29 SCVs here. And just like that, you're still not even dead, by the way. But the difference is just mind-blowing. He still doesn't have a 4th base. Yeah, you have amazing upgrades. You're about to have 3-2 against 1-1. His army composition is not even that good, by the way. It's just hard to attack into, and that's it. You're still in a good spot. You're still in a decent spot, at least. Gonna get that 4th base going. You still have... Well, you don't have SCVs here. Probably could resaturate a little bit better. So at this point, you just have to rebuild your army. Honestly, at this, once again, I would have liked a drop here. You don't really want him to be able to attack you. Against Disruptors, the biggest problem is just that you get pinned against the wall. If he attacks you here, and he's just gonna push in 1 ball. Imagine your army is here, right? 1 Disruptor ball is gonna push your army back to here, and then another one's gonna push you back to here, or maybe force like some wild split where either it succeeds, or in most cases you just lose your units, and then your 3rd base is gone. So when you were backing off here and you knew we had Disruptors, like when your army was here, you would just send 2 medevacs, go like around, you know, pressure this 3rd. He can't defend it with a warp in, especially not being 3 upgrades down. Not even with the super battery, you can just focus it down. And that way he would either pull his army back or get into an awkward base rate that's probably good for you, because you have really high upgraded bio units that actually trade well. Right now I'm very afraid that you get pinned. 2 more DTs. Let's see how you're gonna respond to this. Now at this point, it's just gonna be tough. Like, you're pinned back. You can't really defend this anymore. Let's see. Oh, the Disruptor shot's actually not great, but you can see the problem here, right? Those libs are lifesavers, by the way. That's exactly what you need. Now, once again, the automatic DT defense is just not there, you know. This is actually costing you so much. Just think about it. During that first attack, if you had rallied units here with the turret, those DTs just die, and that's it. And you attack him, and you probably kill him, or cripple him. And instead, those DTs basically negated a 60 supply lead and made it even, and now these DTs are actually winning the game just because you have no units ready for the DTs. Like, I get this question a lot as well, like, you know, what do you do against blink DTs blinking on the planetary and stuff like that? And the question is just, you need to be prepared. If it's a planetary, you need to have some mines around it or a liberator. In this case, all you have to do is rally on the turret and put it a bit further forward. And that saves you all of this trouble, like actually all of it. So, good EMPs. This actually looks like a good fight. Oh, the Disruptor kills a bit too much here. You were actually very close to cleaning this up, I think, with some good splits. Now DT's doing so much damage. You probably didn't notice it because of all the alerts going around in the same area. How many SCVs are we losing? It's another like 25 or 20 SCVs down the drain. And at this point, yeah. Yeah, at this point you probably can't win the game anymore, right? He's getting his 4th base up. Is there anything more you can do at this point? Yeah. It's gonna be tough here. This should probably be an orbital. There's some small things you can do. You can make this into an orbital instead. Like, you just need money, you're so poor. You can try a Doom Drop. You have 4 Liber. Actually, your army with the Doom Drop is pretty strong here, by the way. Obviously, he shouldn't lose to it, but one last-ditch effort you can make is the Doom Drop. 4 Liberators with all your Medevacs and your Bio all the way here. Sieging here with the Liberator is actually a tough position for him to defend. That would probably be your last effort to win this game. Any frontal attack, obviously, is not gonna cut it against this. It's just me, or I can really. It's really hard for me to tell how many units is in there because of the skins. Well, it's 5 Disruptors, 16 Stalkers, 2 Archons, and Immortal. Obviously, the Disruptors are the hard part here. If you don't have an overwhelming arc of bio units, you can't really take a good fight against them anymore. DT Blink coming up as well. So yeah, I imagine this fight's gonna be. Yeah, where does the? Here's the. You forgot those, I guess, because they were sieged. Maybe use the all army key or something. Liberators are on +1. Obviously not too applicable to this game, but try to get that +2 attack, because then they 2-shot Stalkers, which is a huge deal. Actually boost Liberator strength by like 100%. Makes them so much better. He's gonna blink in. Like, he just has too many units. You stimmed a little bit late, maybe it was still good, but yeah, he just has too many units here, and that's gonna be the game. So yeah, main conclusion of this game. Early game was actually very good. The mind was very good, scouting good. Messed up the build a little bit, but I think you were aware of that, judging from the text you wrote. And mostly just, yeah, that DT defense wasn't on point. The decision to stim in was horrible into his Disruptor army over here. That was like, yeah, you had such a good chance to win that game, and all of a sudden it dropped down to like 50. Then the DTs came in again. You never upped that DT defense. Maybe you didn't know how to. That's possible. Well, now you know. Overall, honestly, a pretty good game. It was really just that one moment, right? The DTs got in, and the Disruptors got amazing shots because you thought, like, I know this feeling. The DTs come in, and you kind of panic, and you're like, well, my army is bigger. I'm going to lose so many SCVs. Maybe go and try to end the game. In this case, it was a very bad decision. And that's going to be it. Well, anyway, I hope you and all the boys learned a lot from this replay analysis. I'll be linking my Twitch below. Don't forget to subscribe there if you would like to have your replay analyzed as well. I'm definitely going to do a bunch more of these. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on notifications, and see you guys next time. Adios.